Hey everyone. So, um, when I was seeing the EX4 reveals, I was very excited when I saw the Lopmon line. I was like, okay, yeah, this seems like a really fun deck. And I made some proposed deck profile videos as the set was coming out, but they were incomplete. I was like, yeah, I'm going to definitely update these decks as we see more of the card reveals from the Lopmon line. And I actually updated the decks last month. I just never posted about it. But, this is a good time. And it just seems like such a fun deck to talk about. So, so I updated the deck twice since the last time that I posted on YouTube about the Mother D Reaper Alliance deck. So, this is one of the updates that I made to the deck. I was thinking, okay, yeah, this is such a fun deck. What if I just focused solely on rookie rushing my opponent? Rookie rushing. Um, but yeah, just focusing very much on aggro. Like, it seems like a fun deck because, like, you only have 8 attackers. This was before I knew that Black Rapidmon was an actual Digimon card. So this version only has 8 attackers. And back then, I didn't even know that Black Rapidmon was a card coming out in EX4. But yeah, I made this deck. I was like, at the time, I thought that there were only 8 attackers. I was like, okay, so you don't really need to go up to your higher levels because your Terurimon and Wendigomon can just swing for 19,000 DP for 2 checks. So there's not really any need to Digivolve much more than that. So I made this abomination of a deck where it has a lot of aggro and also a lot of security control elements to it. Because since you don't need that many Digimon in your deck, then you can just keep your Digimon low. Then you don't need to focus on Digivolution that much. So you can also just fill your deck with a bunch of option cards. So it's like an abomination of Rookie Rush with elements of security control. So this is version 3 of my deck. I think that this is not going to be the deck that I'm going to run, but I it seems like a fun deck for people who don't want to digivolve all the way up and they just want to focus on aggro and control. So this is fun. Um, so I'm playing 4 Mother D Reapers. The Mother D Reapers just act as easy to get out Digimon that are 15,000 DP. It isn't affected by any of your opponent's effects, but it can be affected by your own effects. Um, None of the other effects on Mother D Reaper matter. Oh, also it can't attack. That effect matters. So it can't attack, and it's unaffected by your opponent's effects. There's a Slopmon where you can on play reveal top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 2-color green card and 1 tamer card with Shuchong Wang and its name among them to your hand. The inheritable on the Slopmon does not matter for this deck at all. The Shuchong Wang also does not matter, but what does matter is that it can search for a 2-color green card off the top 4 cards of your deck. Same thing for this Terriermon. Basically, the only effect that you really care about is that on play, you reveal top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 2-color green card among them to your hand. And I'm playing Terurimon and Wendigomon. So these are the attackers of your deck. They are 4 cost to play, but they digivolve for 2 off of your rookies because you're only playing Lopmon and you're only playing Terriermon as rookies. So they would digivolve for 2. They have this effect, Alliance, by suspending one of your other Digimon in play when this Digimon attacks. Add the suspended Digimon's DP to this Digimon's and gains security attack +1 for the attack. So you can just push out Mother D Reaper. It's a 15,000 DP Digi-Egg. My camera is actually in the way. Oh yeah, my camera's in the way. I'm going to disable it. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so Mother D Reaper is a 15,000 DP Digiegg. So you can just push it out every 2 turns. So you hatch it, and then you push it out the next turn. Then you hatch it, then you push it out the next turn. So every second turn, you're able to get another Mother D Reaper in play. So because you can affect Mother D Reaper with your own effects, you can target Mother D Reaper and affect Mother D Reaper with your own effects, then this Tarurimon is just easily able to suspend your Mother D Reaper to gain the 15,000 DP and gain security attack +1. So when this thing swings, it's going to swing for 19,000 DP, 2 checks. Same thing with this Wendigomon, same effect. So you can just suspend Mother D Reaper and swing for 19,000 DP, 2 checks. So if you are playing this deck, and then you hatch Mother D Reaper on your first turn, and then you end your turn by playing Tarurimon or Wendigomon, and then your second turn, you can bring out the Mother D Reaper and then swing with the Tarurimon or Wendigomon for 19,000 DP, 2 checks. So you just put an insane amount of aggro on your opponent right at the beginning of the game. So they're forced to either deal with your Tarurimon or Wendigomon, or they're going to face another 2 security checks the following turn. Most likely, it might be 3, because you're also going to play a Digimon that turn. So 2 from the Tarurimon/Wendigomon on turn 2, 2 more on turn 3 if they don't deal with it, and then a 5th check from the Digimon they just played. So this is a very insane aggro deck. So these are the only Digimon that you really need. Granted, this was, again, before I found out that Black Rapidmon was a thing. No, Black Gargomon was a thing. But I have since made a version 4 of this deck. You have Samadhi Santi, so it's useful for suspending Digimon that have deletion prevention effects. So if your opponent has anything that you can't really remove that easily, you can just Samadhi Santi one of your extra Mother D Reapers that you will just fill the board with. Like, over the course of the game, you're going to have more Mother D Reapers than you actually need, and they're just there as suspension fodder, either for Alliance or for Samadhi Santi. So you can just suspend one of your Mother D Reapers, or even one of your rookies, or basically any Digimon they have just there that you don't really need. So suspend them so you can sneak an extra attack in, or you can swing over them. So you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, so you can swing over them. Lightning Blade works really well. You don't need to ignore color requirements because you are playing all of your Digimon are green. One of your Digimon with 2 or more colors gets plus 2,000 DP and piercing for the turn. So since your main attackers are Tarurimon and Wendigomon, then you can just Lightning Blade to give them plus 2,000 DP and then piercing. So if they swing for 19,000 DP, 2 checks, then you give them another plus 2,000 DP. So it's going to be 21,000 DP with piercing 2 checks. So because you can just suspend your opponent's Digimon, you can just swing over them for piercing 2 checks, 21,000 DP. So most likely you are going to live that security check. Avalon's Gate, activate one of the effects below. If you have a Digimon of Examon and its name in play, activate all the effects below. So you don't have Examon in this deck, so you can just activate one of the effects. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and one of your Digimon gains piercing for the turn. So if you don't happen to have Samadhi Santi in play, or if you don't happen to have an extra Digimon that you want to suspend, one of your Digimon to suspend in order to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, you can just use Avalon's Gate to suspend one of their Digimon, and then give one of your Tarurimon or Wendigomon piercing. So you can just very easily swing over that way. So this is a really fun deck for you to be able to knock away your opponent's security while also removing their Digimon at the same time. So suspend, piercing. So you can just keep giving them pressure by removing their Digimon, but also chipping away at their security. Davis Momia, Memory Setter, searches for any of your green Digimon, but also your Kumamons. Kumamon just hybrid for game. And then I'm just playing a bunch of dual color blue cards, dual color green cards. Avalon's Gate, Gigadef, Megadef, Mimi, Tachikawa, and Jokido, because they can all be searched for by Lopmon or Terriermon. So in case you don't find Terriermon or Wendigomon, then you have 4, 8, 12, 16 other cards that you can search for. So you have 16 of these green-blue cards, but you also have 8 of these level 4s. So you have 24 cards that you can search for with Flopmon or Terriermon. So it seems fun. Gigadef, just removal. Just because you don't really need more Digimon, you don't really need to go up. Then you can just fill your deck with these security options cards. So just in case this happens to end up in your security, then it can push your opponent back. Same with Megadef. So just because you have the space to put these option cards in your deck, I figured, you know what? Let's stick it. Let's stick with low level Digimon. Swing with low level Digimon. There's no need to Digivolve all the way up to level 6. So because you eliminate so much Digimon space in your deck, you can just fill your deck up with a bunch of tamers and options. Megadef, you can just suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to its owner's hand. So if you do manage to start your turn with 5 or more memory, you don't have to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and then bounce that suspended Digimon to their hand. What you can do is you can suspend one of their Digimon that you want to pierce over, and then return one of their other suspended Digimon to their hand, and then just attack over that problematic Digimon that you suspended using Terriermon or Wendigomon. Or, if they have some kind of blocking effect, like Black War Greymon, even if it has effects that prevent it from leaving play, it will still be suspended. So you can just swing at their security, or so you can swing over it that way. Grendel Soul, basically just another option card that you can put on your security, but you don't really need. Mimi, Tachikawa, and Jokido. If you have a suspended Digimon in play, gain 1 memory. You will most likely have suspended Digimon because you are using Alliance. So even if your opponent manages to get rid of your Terriermon or Wendigomon after they attacked, then you will most likely still have the Mother D-Reaper that you suspended. So you can pretty much count on the +1 memory gain from having at least 1 suspended Digimon in play. If your opponent has a suspended Digimon in play, gain 1 memory. So this second effect is not as reliable, but you can at least almost rely on the first condition, where you have a suspended Digimon in play, so you gain 1 memory. So most turns you're going to get 1 memory, possibly you might get 2 memory. When one of your green or blue Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, you may suspend this tamer to draw 1. So this is actually a good effect for the deck, because since your deck is focused on suspending your opponent's Digimon and also piercing over their suspended Digimon, you're going to attack into their Digimon a fair amount of times. So because you do suspend their Digimon and you attack over their Digimon, then you can reliably draw 1 from the Alterns effect of Mimi, Tachikawa, and Jokido. So this just seems like a fun deck. You only have a handful of Digimon that you want to attack with. So Terriermon and Wendigomon, your main attackers. Lopmon and Terriermon are your searchers. Either search for Terriermon or Wendigomon, or search for Avalon's Gate, Gigadef, Megadef, or Mimi, Tachikawa, and Jokido. So you have a fairly good, consistent engine going on. Samae Santi, Avalon's Gate, Megadef for suspension. Mainly, Samae Santi is just cheap suspension, but it's not really useful until after mid-game, when you get more Mother D-Reapers out. So starting from turn 4 onwards, it's going to be more useful. You can use it earlier, but just because you have to suspend one of your Mother D Reapers or one of your extra Digimon, then it's going to slow you down because you can't use Alliance on the Digimon that you suspended. But if you use this on turn 4 or later, when you have extra Mother D Reaper suspension fodders out, then it can be really good. Piercing / suspension. So you do have the piercing effects. I had looked at other piercing effects, but I think that Lightning Blade is probably the best piercing effect for the deck. It's just 1 cost. You get that extra 2000 DP, but it doesn't really matter to you that much. But basically to give your Digimon piercing for 1 memory is really good. Avalon's Gate. So this has piercing for 3. It's kind of expensive, but you are able to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon this way. So either to suspend one of their blockers, so you can just swing at their security, or suspend one of their Digimon that you want to remove, because now you have piercing, you can swing over it. So this is good. The unsuspend one of your Digimon effects, I don't think comes up that much in this deck. I don't think that the unsuspending effect is as useful as the suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, either to get rid of one of their blockers, then be able to swing at their security, or suspend one of their Digimon and then swing over it with piercing. So this is the main effect that you want. You don't really care about the unsuspending effect. Most of the time, it might come up. Davis is just good for searching. Since you only have a handful of Digimon that you want to attack with, Lopmon and Terriermon help you search for them. Davis also helps you search, because if you get those Digimon reliably, then you can just focus on the aggro strategy. You are playing 8 Tamers that are blue, so just having blue hybrid seems like a good choice. So this was version 3 of the deck. I didn't know that Black Gargomon was a thing, but after I knew that Black Gargomon... after I knew that Black Gargomon was a thing, I added Black Gargomon to the deck. So almost the same deck, but I did revise it. So I kept Lopmon, kept Terriermon, kept Harurumon, Wendigomon. Of course, Harurumon and Wendigomon are the main attackers, but I did not know about Black Gargomon as EX4 was being released. But now that I know about it, it's a really good extra 9th to 12th copies of attackers. So instead of having only 8 attackers, you now have 12 attackers. You honestly have 20 Digimon that you can consistently play from your hand and not feel bad about it. Lopmon and Terriermon are only 3 costs. On play, they search for more cards. Harurumon, Wendigomon, and Black Gargomon are 4 costs, so they aren't too expensive. I took away 1 Samae-Santi because, again, this is more like a mid-game or late-game card. It doesn't really help you early game, so I don't think that it's as useful. So it just took 1 away to make space for Black Gargomon. Lightning Blade, very good piercing effect, so of course I kept it at 4 copies. Avalon's Gate, also very good. I kept it at 4. Megadef, very good. Kept it at 4. I took away more of the security control aspects of the deck. So I took away Gigadef and Grandel Soul. Like, they are fun, but when you actually play the deck out, you don't want to rely on them being your security. Like, it is good if you have no other better cards to play, but now that I'm making space for Black Gargomon, it just makes sense that, you know, this isn't really relying on security control, so I don't really need it. I'm focusing more on aggro. I would rather put efforts into aggro than some efforts into aggro and then some into defense. So just removing them out, I can put in Black Gargomon and also put in some more blue hybrids. Megadef, also really good card. If your opponent does not have any effects that prevent their Digimon from leaving play, then you can just remove one of their Digimon for 5 cost. If not remove it, then you can just at least suspend it. If this is checked in your security on your opponent's turn, then you can just suspend one of their Digimon, bounce back one of their Digimon that is attacking, so you just stop them from attacking you with an extra Digimon pretty much. Actually, all of your option cards suspend your opponent's Digimon in security, so this is fun. So when they attack you and then you get an option card in security, then you just slow them down. Mimi and Joe I want to keep at 4 because I want to be able to search for more cards of Flopmon and Terriermon. Davis Momia, just a really good tamer overall. You can search for any of your blue hybrids or any of your Lopmon Terriermon line. So basically every Digimon in your deck you can search for using Davis Momia. Kumamon, just a hybrid for game. Kurikakumon, just a hybrid for game. Because you are playing a bunch of tamers that I don't even feel like, oh yeah, this is not good enough to keep at 7 copies. I want to keep at 7 copies just because you are playing Lopmon and Terriermon, so you are putting cards at the bottom of your deck. So in case you reveal Kumamon or Kurikakumon, and then you have to put them at the bottom of your deck, you don't feel as bad because you are playing 7 copies. So because you're playing 7 copies, then you're probably going to draw into a Kumamon or Kurikakumon eventually. So just having 1 or 2 in your hand is pretty good. So I think that 7 is a pretty good number. So I sacrifice some of the security control elements from my version 3 deck so that I can put in more blue hybrids. So this is probably the deck that I'm going to play for EX4. I had considered playing level 5s and level 6s, but personally, this is more in line with my play style. I want to be able to rush my opponent down, so just being able to just play from 20 cheap Digimon, and then swing turn after turn with massive DP, 2 security attacks. This is more my speed. Suspending Digimon, piercing over suspended Digimon, returning your opponent's Digimon back to their hand. This seems like a fun deck. Searching for any of your Digimon. Just hybrid for game. This is solely focused on aggro, solely focused on rush, and I just really love rush decks. A bunch of you probably know how much I love rush decks, and this is probably the deck that I'm going to run for EX4. I'm very excited about it. I don't think that you need to go to level 5s and level 6s. Like, it is unfortunate that you are not playing any green Digi-Eggs, so that you won't be able to Digivolve in Racing. I did see some deck lists where they don't run a full playset of 4 Mother D-Reapers. They run maybe 2 or 3 Mother D-Reapers, then they run 2 or 3 of green Digi-Eggs. So then that way they get a combination of both, being able to push Mother D-Reaper out, but also having the benefit of being able to raise their Digimon in security, so then they won't easily be deleted by your opponent. But, you know, I do think that having 4 Mother D-Reapers in my Digi-Egg is a good idea. I see why people do like a half and half mix of Mother D-Reaper and green eggs. So then that way, if their plan fails, then they can just opt to raise in raising. But if they do that, then they have to sacrifice not being able to get Mother D-Reaper out as soon as possible or as often as possible. So I don't like that drawback. I want to focus mainly on aggro. I want to be able to hatch Mother D-Reaper turn 1, play Tarurumon, Wendigomon, or Black Gargomon turn 1, and then turn 2, swing at their security 19,000 DP, 2 checks. And then, like, they're forced to be in this position where they have to get rid of your level 4 Digimon, or they're going to face another impending 2 checks. So they use their turn, get rid of your level 4 Digimon. Meanwhile, on your next turn, you swing at them with the new Digimon that you just played. So you get another 2 checks in. So already turn 3, you get 4 checks in. This is such a big amount of pressure on your opponent. Meanwhile, you can also suspend their Digimon to just swing over, or you can pierce over their suspended Digimon, or bounce their Digimon back to your hand, or just set up your tamers so then you can eventually hybrid for game. So I think that this is the deck that I'm going to play. This is very close to the final version. I think that this might actually be the final version of the deck that I'm playing. I did look at the level 5s, the level 6s. They seem fun, but I don't want to go tall. I'm going to pick up probably a full case of EX4. I say that now, but most of the cards in EX4, I am looking forward to some of them, but I don't think that I'll pick up that many. But it really depends. I might pick up 2 booster boxes, or I might pick up a case. But either way, I think that going low with the Terriermon line is my favorite way to play this deck. You can also go tall, but I don't really want to. I want to focus my efforts on aggro as much as possible. So I'm just playing a very rush type style deck. But yeah, I just wanted to make this little update. It was pretty messy. So you can play a kind of more SecCon controlled deck. But, I would still put in Black Gargomon. This was before I knew Black Gargomon was a thing. So I don't recommend V3 or V2 or V1 of the deck. You can see my other versions. You can make adjustments to them to fit in Black Gargomon and even the new Terriermon. But this V4 of the deck is probably what I'm most likely playing. Just getting the extra searches in so you can reliably get your level 4s out early game. In case you don't get them in your opening hand, if you get them in your opening hand, you most likely want to play them right away. If you don't get them, just play Lopmon or Terriermon, and then search for them, Digivolve into them next turn, and then you get your attacks in that way. But the better play is to just play them earlier. Suspend your opponent's Digimon to get past them or swing over them with piercing. Get rid of your opponent's Digimon so you can swing at security. And also slow your opponent down. This gives you memory gain, which can help in being able to play more option cards. And also gives you draw power, so it can help you to get more level 4s. But mainly I put this card in the deck because it's a blue-green tamer. So Lopmon and Terriermon can't search for it. But it can also be digivolved into Kumamon or Korikakumon. Davis Momia, just really good. You can search for every single Digimon in your deck with Davis Momia. And he's a memory setter, so he's just good overall. But just because he's also blue, then you can just go into Kumamon or Korikakumon. It's great that the Terriermon line is green. So then that way you can still play blue hybrids, but also the green Terriermon line. So if you get both of them off of Davis Momia, then you get +2 card advantage. So this is just a really good card. Really great, especially because the combination of green and blue, then you have a pretty good chance of getting 2 cards added to your hand. Kumamon just hybrid for game. Korikakumon just hybrid for game. This I like because you can trash 1 Digivolution card from the bottom of your opponent's Digimon. So it can come in handy just in case they have like an inheritable with blocker or an inheritable that give them some effect they just want to get rid of to swing for game. Because if you're swinging for game, you don't really need high DP. If it's like the last check or one of the last 2 checks, then you don't mind your hybrid being deleted. Being able to trash 1 Digivolution card seems like the better effect to have than just being like a 6,000 vanilla. Korikakumon, I am running less than Kumamon just because Korikakumon is basically a vanilla in my deck, aside from being able to digivolve over a blue tamer for 2 cost. But yeah, 6,000 DP, basically a vanilla in this deck, versus 4000 DP being able to trash a Bomb Digivolution card from one of your opponent's Digimon. Kumamon seems better. Korikakumon is just the extra hybrid that I need, and Korikakumon is still preferred over Lobomon, just because I do not need to Digivolve over any blue rookies. So just, I'm basically only playing Korikakumon in this deck because I'm Digivolving over a blue Tamer. So because I'm just Digivolving for 2 costs over blue Tamer anyways, the extra 6000 DP can be useful. So yeah, this is basically my deck. I think that this is close to the final version. And yeah, I will let you know how it goes in the EX4. I'm going to pick up anywhere between 2 boxes of EX4 to 2 cases of EX4. So we will find out when the time comes what I will do. But I am very excited about this deck. I'm not interested in many of the alt arts of the set. So, I might hold back a bit because I am going very hard on BT11, ST14, and also RB01. So there are other sets that I'm going hard on. So I'm just like, okay, I may want to slow down here, not pick up that many boxes of EX4. But yeah, as long as I get these cards, I'm very happy. All of them from EX4 are uncommon or below. Common, 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 uncommon. And those are the only EX4 cards I need. So basically, if I get these missing 20 cards, it's going to be like probably less than $5. Just because, like, oh my god, they're all uncommon or below. Yeah, this is my deck profile video. I kind of just stretch it out as I was talking. But yeah, I'm going to post an update once EX4 comes out. This is most likely the deck I'm going to run. And I will see you all later.